go 50 miles an hour past Sunset Ridge and until they encounter the 30-mile-an-hour sign. Now, the people coming out of Sunset Ridge, Pacific Lifestyle, they do have a stop sign, but they have no visibility until they start to go forward so they can see the road. And there's been, you know, when we go by there, a lot of people kind of run that stop sign because they can't see anything anyway, so they just kind of ease on out. So my question is, why was the original 30-mile-an-hour sign removed? And then my second one is more of an inquiry, and it might have been covered at a previous meeting. I was just curious as to whether or not we sold that camera lens that was, you know, the $1,279 one. That's a curiosity. And that's all I have for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other members? Richard?
Get a copy.
Thank you.
Richard Hamby, 37015 Southeast Gibson Road, Washougal. Communication is a powerful thing, providing an opportunity to exchange information, ideas, and opinions, and encouraging understanding. Your currently enforced rules regarding public comment do not allow you to take full advantage of this exchange. You are now enforcing a strict 3-minute limit on public comment, even when your meetings are very short. You can afford to be more flexible in listening to those that you represent. And you now allow public comment only at the beginning of meetings. This is the least effective time to gain relevant input and greatly diminishes this opportunity for public involvement in local government. For the community to gain the most, for the council to gain the most from any input offered by the public, comments should be solicited after an issue is announced and before discussion by the council, and again after discussion and before any decision. These changes were made on a day, announced on a day when a controversial issue acted upon by the council and largely irrelevant to city business inspired a large turnout of potential speakers and maybe an effort to keep the council meetings focused. My concern here is the actions of the council seem strongly related to these restrictions on the public's voice. You also announced the strict requirement that the public must not address a member of the council directly. This followed an incident during the previous council workshop where a council member responded to a member of the community in a very discourteous and unprofessional manner. Was this incident a trigger for the prohibition of direct interaction between council members and the public? Sometimes a comment could be inspired by the actions, statements, or expertise of an individual council member, and respectful, direct communication would seem to be desirable. Direct public interaction between members of the council and members of the community does occur in the form of letters to the editor. 2 recent letters criticizing members of the public who expressed their opinions were written by council members. Now a letter in the Post Record written by a member of this council contends that there is an ongoing effort to shut down political debate in the form of complaints at council meetings and letters to the editor. The content of this letter seems to intended to limit political debate at odds with its own claim. We need more, not less, political debate, even when it occasionally comes in the form of a complaint. I encourage you to establish standards for public comment that both value and can gain value from the comments of the public. Finally, a question. Does Washougal have a code of ethics for members of the council? The type of behavior that recently resulted in unfavorable press for the Vancouver City Council should not be tolerated here. We all need to respectfully work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Any other members of the public that wish to address the council? Okay. Moving into the consent agenda, the amended consent agenda this evening consisting of the council meeting minutes of September 7th, 2010, the council workshop minutes of September 13th, 2010, the regular accounts payable claims in the amounts of $152,318.76, Agenda Bill 13110, the 2011 Municipal Court and Correction Rates. And that would be your consent agenda for this evening.
Mr. Mayor, I ask unanimous consent that the consent agenda consisting of item 1, council minutes, item 2, workshop minutes, item 3, regular accounts payable claims, and item 6, the agenda bill 131-10, be approved unanimously.
Hearing no objection, so ordered. Mayor's report for this evening, I have nothing for you. Do we have any correspondence? No correspondence. Council comments? John?
A couple. I was hoping Molly would be here tonight, but unfortunately, Councilwoman Coaston is not able to be here. One of the things that has come to light of recent, and I know that the City of Vancouver and their issues were brought up tonight by a couple of people, is the lack of accountability by those council members who are appointed to boards such as the RTC, the Regional Transportation Committee, as well as CTRAN. And the ability for them to attend these meetings and to vote how they wish rather than how the councils that they represent would like them to vote. A very similar issue has come up in Vancouver, where one of the council members is voting opposite to how the council would like her to vote. As a result, they have tried to strip her committee assignment and replace her. One of the things I think we need to consider as we move forward is we've had these appointments to CTRAN and RTC year after year after year, and it's only until recently that it's come to light that they're working on much bigger projects that should have citizen input, that should have council input, since we are elected representatives. And so, as moving forward, I think it's very important that our representatives, both on the CTRAN board and RTC, give us routine updates on things that they're voting on and asking our opinion before they vote. I think that they owe that to us for us putting them and appointing them in those positions. I think it's very vital that we have that. We need accountability even on those boards. The other issue I want to discuss too is this issue of, just to give you an update, as a small business owner in this community, we deal in healthcare. And 50% of our patients are Medicaid patients and Medicare, both. The government has stopped paying us for our Medicaid patients. Providers all across the county are now rejecting Medicaid patients and sending them to the hospitals directly. Medicare has further reduced from what originally was 30 cents on the dollar that they were reimbursing providers for seeing them. Now Medicare has reduced that further another 20%. Now Medicare patients are also being rejected by doctors and physicians and being sent to the hospitals. This is a very real issue that affects our constituents. It's a very real issue that affects all of us. And I think it speaks to the larger issue of dependence upon government. I am dependent at some level on Medicare and Medicaid to pay us to see their patients. And as a result, we're left high and dry. And if they will do that in those kind of programs, you bet your bottom dollar that they will do that in other programs, whether